Tammy here. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and now I have 3 different embossing inks. So I just wanted to do like a side-by-side. Scrapbook.com came out with this premium clear ink for embossing, and they're raving about it on their video. So I thought, let's see how good this embossing ink really is. So I'm going to use theirs, and then I have this Versamark watermark stamp pad, and I have the Ranger embossing ink pad, and I don't know, I hope this one is still good, but I might have to put some embossing ink on it. I'm not sure. I have the Versamark, so I have refills, but I don't know if I have a refill for this one, so we'll see how that one works. So anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to emboss these keys and locks for a swap I'm doing, and these are chipboard pieces. The keys are really fine, but I got this from AS Craft Supplies, and I did use one of these in a swap that I just did with when I made a Valentine mailbox. So anyway, these are called by Cora Projects, and you can get these on AS Craft Supplies. And don't forget to use my special 10% off coupon code, which is Peaches, all capitals, PEACHES 10. Okay, so if you plug that in, I'm not sure if it's off one item or if the order, but I'm thinking it's the order. So use that coupon code and you can get these for 10% off. So anyway, so I've got, these are they're very thin and they're very fragile, so we're going to be really careful with them. They're chipboard. But I'm going to emboss them to include in possibly in a swap that I'm doing. I'm not sure yet. So I've got some, I'm going to use the red for the keys and some copper embossing powder, and I'm really not sure what the brand is. Usually I write it on there, but I didn't, so I'm not sure what type of embossing powder this is, but for what we're doing, it almost really doesn't matter. And I'm going to be using my heat gun. So anyway, all right, let's get started. So I'm going to do a key in each of the pads. So we'll start with the Ranger embossing ink, and we're just going to, yeah, this might be dry. I don't know. I hope not. It doesn't feel dry, but it could be dry. It feels a little bit lighter. The pad feels a little bit lighter than the other two. So we're going to get our little tweezers out, and what I do is I just dip it into the embossing powder like that, get a good coat on there, and then just pick it up and oops, yeah, so we're going to do several coats, so it's okay if there's little spots missing or whatever, but we're just going to do that on the one side. It doesn't matter what the other side looks like, because more than likely that's going to be used for something else. So anyway, I'm just going to turn my heat gun on. I'm going to heat it up for a minute. Sorry about the noise. Okay, and I'm going to heat that up. And there's a lot of videos out there on how to do this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we're going to dip that in there again. I don't want that powder on my... Let me get my brush. I'll use this one. It's kind of hard to hold these little twine pieces like this. Alright, so we're going to do this again. I'm going to put it in the embossing pad, push it down, get it really good and coated, and then we're going to stick that back in the embossing powder. And you could do both sides, it just depends on what your preference is. So we're going to take that and we're going to drop it into the embossing powder, because that's what we do. Okay. Carefully hold that. I don't want to burn myself. And then we're going to heat it up again. I'll fix that here in a little bit. But you can see it's nice and shiny, and you don't want to do that too much because you don't want it to bubble, so you don't want to heat it up too much, but I'll go back and fix that. But that's the first one, and that's using the Ranger ink. Alright, so maybe could do another coat, I'm not really sure. Alright, and then we're going to do the Versamark, which this is the one I usually use, and this pad is really sticky, so I'm just going to push that in, get it nice and coated, and then we're just going to put that in here, and then just make sure we get a good coating. And we're going to heat this one up. Now what I did notice is on this one, it actually embosses a lot quicker than the Ranger one. So let's see if I can put that down so you can see it. Alright, cool that off a little bit. I've got stuff all over my tweezers, so hold on. Alright, so we're going to dip that again. Oh, my gun's pretty hot, so it did both sides. So I might go back and do both sides, but for right now, I'll just do the one side. Alright, so we're just going to be really careful, because that neck part right there, where it's pretty intricate, is delicate, so I don't want to break it. Alright. Then we're going to dip that into the embossing powder. Turn that over. I'm going to try to hold it down here so I don't burn myself. And then we are going to I'm going to put it down so I can see. Alright, so that is the, that's using the Versamark. And what I did notice was this one is shinier. Same embossing ink. This one is shinier than this one, and this one looks, to me it looks more embossed than this one. This one looks kind of bubbly. So anyway, alright, so that's the Versamark. And then we're going to try this new scrapbook ink. If I can get it open. Okay. There we go. So we're going to dip Wish there was an easier way to do this. I don't know. I'm going to press that down. Make sure we get it really good and saturated. This ink pad is really wet too. So, alright, so we're going to take that and we're going to dip it in here. Good coverage. Definitely good coverage. So let's see how this works. Alrighty. So that's the first layer. Not too bad. A little sticky. Oops. Some of it came off right there. But I might have touched it too soon, so I'm not sure. But anyway. Alright, so we're just going to get that really good and saturated again. Kind of push it down in there. And this one, because I didn't use my fingers, didn't stick to the back too much, so that's cool. Alright, and then it's a little bent. And I'm just going to dip that back in there. Turn that over. And then we're going to emboss that. Okay. So that is the one that I used, the scrapbook embossing powder, and it does look shinier. And here's the other thing, the second coat looks, I like the embossed look. It looks a little puffier, more rounded than the Versamark one. And the Ranger ink, though this one could just be because I need to refill the pad with more ink, and I don't know where my ink is right now. So, but anyway, I would say probably, I don't know, I like them both. This one's still kind of hot. I think they both do equally well. My preference, though, is the Versamark. So this one is with the scrapbook embossing. This is with the Versamark. I do like the look of the Versamark, and it's not that I don't like the scrapbooking one. I just felt like there was better coverage, and I like the embossed look more with the Versamark. It's more smooth than the scrapbook or the Ranger. So I don't know. I'm not like not liking it. I like them all equally, but again, the Versamark is probably my favorite. So now I'm going to try the same technique, but this one is with the cover. And again, I'm not sure. I seriously need to clean my tweezers with some alcohol. I'm not sure the brand of the embossing powder, and the thing that I have found is I'm not too worried about that because I feel like they're all just kind of the same. Some might have like a more shiny effect, and some are more flat or whatever, but I don't worry about it too much. Okay, so now let's do the Ranger ink, and we'll do the little heart. Get that really, 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 really coated. And then we're going to dip that into the copper. That. Put it down. Yeah, I think my pad's dry, so it's not. I would definitely have to do probably like 3 layers because my pad is dry. So, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It still has a bubbly effect though. It's the only thing I don't like about the Ranger, which is mainly why I use the Versamark. It's not as smooth, I don't feel, and maybe that's my fault for not heating it up, you know, the right amount of time or whatever, but it's still, I don't have to worry about that too much with the Versamark ink. So we're just going to press that in, dip that in our copper. Alright, lay that down and yeah, see, it kind of gives you a bubbly effect, and I'm not really a big fan of that. With embossing, I like it to be kind of smooth, but if you can see the little bumps, and maybe doing it one more time might, again, that might help it. Filling the ink pad with more ink might help it. I don't know, but for right now, I'm gonna go move on. Alright, so let's do the Versamark. This one should be easy. A little rectangle keyhole. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit that on there. Oh, no, I can. Alright, so we're going to dip that in there. And I don't know how I'm going to get that out. Very carefully. I'll fix that here. So I feel like I get more coverage with the Versamark too, like it really, the embossing powder really sticks to it too. Okay, oops. Oh, I gotta stop touching it with my fingers. It's so hard on these pieces like this because there's really no way to get any tweezers around them, so you kind of have to just work with it. Alright. I love, love, love how that decoration came through. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love this little keyhole. Isn't that cool? Love it. Alright, so that's the Versamark. Now that's just one layer, and I don't even feel like I need to do a second layer, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm just going to go for it because it does look really pretty. That's going to be really pretty. I can already tell. Alright, so that one is the Versamark. I really, really, really love how this one turned out. It's not just because the keyhole is my favorite, but I just really like the copper and the smooth look of it. I mean, it's got, you know, some little bit of waves in it, but I think for the most part, that is amazing. I love that. So that's the Versamark. Okay, now we're going to do this other lock in the scrapbook one. And I'm just going to press that in. Okay. Just like that. We're going to put that in here. And my thing is, I don't want to have to, I don't like to work harder. I like to work smarter. So now you can see here, it looks like the embossing powder didn't really adhere. I'm not sure why that is, but okay, so you can kind of see here where it didn't adhere. So I'm going to definitely do this one again. Alright. Brush off some of that powder on the back. I'm going to press it really good this time. Make sure I get a good coating. And dip it into the powder. And I'm not really sure if it's the actual embossing powder that's not sticking or the ink. So let's try this again. Okay, now this one had a design on it as well. But I am going to say that for the most part, in all of these, the Versamark would probably be my go-to. Not that I won't use this, and once I put more powder in this, I'll use this one too. But I really like how the Versamark covers the coverage on it, and the way that the embossing powder sticks really, really well. And then if you have an intricate design like this, how well that looks. So this one, I don't know if it's cooled down yet. Let me see. Brush that off a little bit. Alright, this one has a little line in it, kind of like, you know, it's not a design like this, but it does have a little line. You can see it, but it's not as visible as this design was using the Versamark. So I think I'm gonna say that out of all of these, let's see, what did I do? I did this one here, I did the Versamark here, and this was the Ranger ink. So I'm gonna have to say out of all of these, I really like the Versamark. That's my favorite. So anyway, so that's my little comparison video on the different embossing inks. This is a great ink, but my favorite go-to is going to be the Versamark still. So I will again use all of them, but this is always going to be my go-to, and I've used it for years, and I love it, and I just think it's amazing, and the coverage and how it sticks to the embossing powder, and you get a good layer of embossing powder to stick to it, and then you emboss it, and it's just gorgeous. It's shiny, it's smooth. I just like the look. So anyway, that's my comparison video. I want to say thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me. I hope you guys try this, or you know, this is new, brand new, just by scrapbook.com. I did get the refill ink with it. So I got the re-inker, and then of course I have my Versamark re-inker, and I'm assuming I have Ranger one somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's at this moment. So anyway, give it a try, and get your own opinion, come to your own conclusion on which one you like, and I hope you like the fact that I showed you how to, take the little wood pieces and emboss them. There's a ton of videos out there. You can do it a third, fourth time to really get a good 3D effect. I have found that I like the 2 layers, sometimes 3. So depending on, what I'm doing and what embossing pad I'm using, so the Ranger ink, I'll probably have to do that a third time. But the Versamark and the scrapbooking, I think I'm good with the 2 times. I think one more time might take out all those little dents and just give it a smoother effect. But if you look at the Versamark one, twice, I'm pretty confident with 2 times on that one. So anyway, all right, that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Please hit that subscribe button, and if you hit the little bell icon to the right, that will notify you when I upload a new video. And if you can hit that like button for this video, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for stopping by again, and I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and I will talk to you later.